Back to our breaking news. A train has derailed in Van Buren Township. Drone 4 overhead showing deadly Amtrak derailment in Missouri after the train hit a truck.
Union Pacific train derailment near the Salton Sea led to the deaths of 2 train employees.
Tonight, a derailment of 17 train cars in Los Angeles Saturday, leaving crews to clean up the mess.
You're watching 10 Tampa Bay, and Justin, we have a news alert out of Bradenton where a train has derailed. I want to give you a look at the situation. This is a live look from Sky 10 right here on.
One person is dead after an 18-wheeler collided with a train in the Splendora area, causing that train to derail.
A train derailment in Tennessee caught on camera. Stop what you're doing and check this out, you guys. It happened. Norfolk Southern train derailed carrying hazardous materials, and it derailed yesterday just outside of Detroit, Michigan.
About another one that happened in the Midwest. Take a look at this video here. This one happening in Gaithersburg, Nebraska.
Here at home, we have the latest on the train carrying 30,000 gallons of liquid propane derailed in Florida. We are tracking breaking news tonight. As we mentioned, another Norfolk Southern train has derailed in Ohio, this time in Springfield.
Theatricality and deception. Powerful agents to the uninitiated. But we are initiated.
I'm super excited! Train derailed Friday, 20 of them carrying hazardous materials as flames lit up the sky in northeastern Ohio.
Breaking news out of Ohio. A Norfolk Southern freight train traveling between Madison, Illinois and Conway, Pennsylvania, derailed shortly after 9 p.m. this evening in the town of East Palestine, Ohio. Early reports of the derailment included a building catching fire as a result of it. When fire crews arrived on scene, they encountered a strong chemical odor and found an unknown chemical or chemicals leaking from a tank car.
Correct. At least on the south side of the tracks, they're ceasing fire operations at this time until they can identify the chemicals in the tanker.
Residents within 1 mile of the derailment site were evacuated from their homes. At time of recording, agencies from multiple states, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia, are working through the night to try to contain the fire and contain the chemical spill. The train crew was able to uncouple their engines and pull clear of any danger. Unfortunately, it will take quite some time for the FRA, the Federal Railroad Administration, and any other agencies that will be involved in investigating this accident to release their reports, including the cause of it.
The evacuation order is in place for anyone within a mile radius of the crash site.
If you have not evacuated, please leave the area.
As they use small explosives to blow holes in the train cars, hoping the hazardous material will seep into ditches where it can be burned safely away.
We want to be able to control that situation. That's the safest way, is to control the situation, and that's with this operation we're going to take this afternoon.
hell kind of glitch in the Matrix is this? You're telling me that the exact plot of a movie that came out last year that was filmed in East Palestine, Ohio, literally just happened in East Palestine, Ohio? Like, what?
Fish in there, there's not a newt, there's not a salamander, there's no frogs, dead snakes.
I don't know where the birds all went, but we don't see any birds in our place.
Do you feel safe?
No, I don't.
No, I don't feel safe. I think I would be a fool to say that I felt safe right now.
My throat's been burning. I've had a horrible cough, sneezing, just congestion. My eyes have burned. It's scary,
We haven't talked to anybody from the railroad.
Hold on. I'm sorry to interrupt, but you're telling me that there's Norfolk Southern rail cars in your backyard. They've pushed them in there, and nobody from the railroad's come to talk to you?
Nope. We haven't talked to anybody. We haven't talked to city officials. We haven't talked to the railroad. We haven't talked to EPA. Nobody has stopped here to talk to us.
Forgive me, I thought the EPA said they'd test everybody's houses.
If it is requested. If you request it, they'll come out and do it.
And you just don't trust them? Or even if they came back positive, there's nothing you do? Tell me what you're thinking.
I mean, honestly, we got our house tested and it came back good, so we came home, but the smell outside, like you can still smell it. I don't see how it's good if we can still smell the chemicals.
That's probably a fairly good idea and good supposition on your part if you can smell them. Does it make you feel sick at all?
Yeah, we've had headaches. We get sore throats. My son's eyes were matted shut this morning. My mom, her one eye was matted shut and all red. It's been horrible.
That's wild. And no help from the railroads, no offer of assistance, no offer of hotels, nothing.
No. We talked to them.
It doesn't surprise you that they didn't show up at tonight's town hall?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Nope.
Once again, would you move? As I'm going to throw another rock right here. Would you stay here? Would you drink that water? Would you be affiliated with this? Would you bathe your kids when it's bubbling up and looking like an oil slick?
Funny how it's this bad, right next to where the dead fish are.
So this train here in particular is being held for NTSB. They're gonna haul this out on a tractor trailer.
And this was the water they pulled from around their property after the chemical release. Last week, Caitlin says that Norfolk Southern, the company that operated the train, came to the door to test for toxins in their home. But before they could, they would need to sign this document.
We were told that they were an independent testing agency. Before they could enter the premises, they handed us a contract. The contract was essentially, to be able to get onto the property, but also at the bottom was a hold harmless agreement.
It states that upon signature, the landowner agrees to hold harmless the company for any and all legal claims, personal injury, or property damage. She refused to sign.
So if I get this straight, Norfolk Southern essentially asked you to sign a hold harmless agreement in exchange for testing?
Correct.
And you did not sign?
Correct.
Would they give you the paper?
They did not give us the paper. I asked if I could take a physical picture with my cell phone of the paper, and I did.
Ohio Senator J.D. Vance is outraged.
We contacted Norfolk Southern right away, and the answer that they gave us, not joking, was that was an accidental indemnification agreement. We didn't mean to give her that one. We gave her the wrong one. Okay? Come on.
Y'all, I live in Youngstown, Ohio. It's 20 minutes away. from when the train derailed.
Do you see the water on the outside bubbling?
This water's been sitting in here for 5 minutes. Came out of the tap.
What is that floating in there?
Meanwhile, Norfolk Southern officials decided not to attend the informational meeting, saying, quote, "We have become increasingly concerned about the growing physical threat to our employees and members of the community around this event, stemming from the increasing likelihood of the participation of outside parties." On Wednesday, Norfolk Southern told us it conducted air quality tests at more than 400 homes over the past 10 days.
Yesterday, a woman who lives in East Palestine, Ohio, went on TikTok to tell her story about how after a town hall meeting talking about the chemicals that had spilled from the train derailment, lawyers recommended you get a blood test for dioxin to see if it was in your blood. Again, this chemical has been linked to cancer, reproductive issues, and many other health issues. When her doctor gave her the prescription to go get her blood drawn, she went to the lab and was told that they no longer have authority to do that blood test. Watch here.
Dioxin level checked, just like the town hall meeting, the lawyers suggested residents do, and anyone that thinks that they've been affected. So my doctor looked around, found a lab called LabCorp, which was one of the labs that was listed that does this. And the thing about that is it's going to be a national thing that every LabCorp should have those codes to test for the blood dioxin. So this morning or yesterday morning or whatever it was, his assistant called LabCorp, got the script. They sent it over. So here's the script. It says blood dioxin on it, right? It was approved as of yesterday. The lab tech said she can come in and we'll do it. So they faxed it over this morning. I went in to get the blood work done. I sat down at the desk to get checked in, and the gentleman that does the blood work said, "I'm so sorry to tell you this, but for some weird reason, it's been discontinued. We no longer have authority to take your blood and test it for dioxins." And he said, "This is weird." He's like, "I just did one like a couple."
After seeing her video, I wanted to do more research into LabCorp and found out that LabCorp operates one of the largest clinical laboratory networks in the world and in the United States. So I wondered, who are their largest shareholders, and found this. In the title of her video, she also states that Quest is no longer doing these blood tests, so I went to find out who their largest shareholders and found that LabCorp and Quest have something big in common. But who else do they have these large shareholders in common with? You guessed it, Norfolk Southern, the same company that owns the train that spilled these chemicals all over East Palestine, Ohio.
Okay, we're about a half mile here from Ground Zero, and these are on all of the roadway signs. I've seen them for the last couple miles, so you can see it says EPA air monitoring in progress. And this one actually is not operational, it looks like. It's reading fail. So that's great. So we have this, Array Link 3, and then that right there. And this is the tube that uses the that pulls in the air for the air monitoring. So.
What do you think they're trying to distract us from paying attention to? Huh? What do you think the real news is that we need to be talking about, bringing up, and bringing to the forefront that they keep ignoring and talking to us about all this other BS? Huh? This other stuff's a bunch of BS, huh? What do you think the real story is they're trying to hide from us? Go ahead and leave a comment down below. Satellites, but this is truly fair. They need to be human.
So then this is where like Senator Vance and everyone has come to check the yuckiness down here in the creek. So they've pulled the pumps down here on Leslie Run. This is the bottom half of the city walking trail. I was showing you guys that pump up there. That's the pump I've been up there showing you guys. That's gone now. And then they've taken out all of their filter barriers. You know, the white ones that were in here that weren't working anyways. So let's walk down here and see what we got. It's a good chance we won't see it rolling because it's going to be it's deep here today. This is normally just bedrock, so it's deep here today. I was actually stepping right here in this area here when I took that video of me and my Crocs, so we're gonna see what we got today. So see. See, I like digging the dirt up and seeing what comes up after I dig it. I don't really smell much, I'll be honest. Down here, it's a lot cleaner smelling than up there. Let's see right here in the shallow. It doesn't look like much is coming up. Well, guess that proved our theory wrong, huh?
Acid rain in the water supply in Ohio. Yet the governor, the Biden administration, still playing down the situation, claiming that everything's perfectly safe. Thousands of livestock have died 100 miles away. Journalists have been arrested. Between this and the Nord Stream pipeline, it's become very obvious, if it wasn't already, where the mainstream media wants your attention. It's not here.
So, I live like 40 miles west of this derailment, and it rained last night. It turned to snow today, or whatever this might be. Anyways, I noticed these bubbles on my truck. It's not ice. Look at that. Whatever that shit is taking the clear coat right off my truck. Ohio.
So, do you have any questions? Hi. Hi.
What are you hearing from residents? I know you met with some of the residents just now. What are some of the stories you're hearing, and what kind of pause does that give you for how things are being handled?
So, I've spent all morning with some of the residents, and I'm very upset. Obviously, they're very upset. I just could not believe the amount of information coming in that they have, that they want to share, that it seems like nobody is listening to. They are so afraid. They get so many mixed messages. They're getting a total runaround. They want help. They make a phone call. It goes to Norfolk. Then it says call EPA. EPA says call Norfolk. They don't know where to go. They want to leave. They don't have the means to leave. People aren't coming back. Their animals are sick. Their animals are dying. I've just seen pictures of them who go to their own doctor with holes in their throat, or they're being diagnosed with chemical respiratory illness, or these rashes that obviously look painful. Listen, this has been going on for 3 weeks since the initial crops. I think we're pushing a month now, actually, March 3rd. And yet nothing has really been done that is really giving them any kind of help or answer. It's so frustrating. It's classic cover-up in an environmental disaster and running the people around in hopes that they don't figure it out, or we all go away and nobody's none the wiser, when they are literally going to be the sitting ducks here. They will be the sitting ducks that don't know their future, that are terrified. And the lack of mismanagement here is unbelievable. You have, I mean, everybody's seen the pictures. The pictures I was seeing up close, what was burning, the smells. It was very overwhelming to have such a close perspective today of what they went through. And I'm still absorbing, honestly, their fear and their turmoil. And I've been on a lot of environmental situations, and I've never seen anything in my life be so mismanaged, ever. You give an all clear, but yet you don't have any data, really, to prove that it is all clear. And then when the people come back and they tell you, I'm smelling stuff, we're sick, we're going to the emergency room, I can't breathe, they're just disregarded because everything is safe. It's obvious nothing is safe yet. And then when they come back, they're told, don't drink the water. But then that changed the next day. It's okay to drink the water. So it's safe, it's not, drink the water, it's not, you're not really experiencing what you are, yet they're sick, yet they're going to the doctor. And every time they try to get answers to the EPA is deferring to Norfolk, the very fox that's in the hen house. So this is what upsets me. And it takes me all the way back to my days in Hinkley, California. We have another environmental disaster, another corporate cover-up. I'm sorry, something is not right here. Agency failures and a really great community of really great people that deserve answers. And not just leave them here sitting and guessing what their future will be. And getting this information takes time. You guys are around town, they're doing all this aeration that could be throwing chemicals into the air. You just had independent testing come out that shows it's in the air. And then EPA Director Regan says yesterday, maybe you should keep the kids away from there. Well, maybe you should have told us that 3 weeks ago because they've already been down here. It's just awful. And I have spent all morning with these people. I am truly upset. I cannot imagine what they've been through. But they all have the same story. They were all within this 1 mile radius and outside of it. They have Norfolk wanting to do tests. And their well water is, you know, all these colors. They're worried. They don't know what it means. What does it mean it smells? What does it mean when I come home I can't breathe? And then the frustration that they just get run around. Every call to every agency leads right back to Norfolk. And I really want to know why they're controlling the narrative. The narrative needs to be this community, and what happened to them? They are not stupid. They are not making things up. This is very real to them. And I really hope that everybody will spend time with them and go to their properties, smell it for yourself, experience it for yourself, feel what they're going through. Help answer their questions about the kids going back to school. They want to know, should they go back to school? Should they homeschool them? Can they do virtual school? There are people leaving now. There are people terrified to come back. And they're sick. I can't say it on camera, so I'm just not going to do it. I am sickened. 30 years ago, that's fine. You can date me 30 years. It's been a long time.
Your experts are here, other experts are here, the state is here telling us what they're doing. We know there are a multitude of federal class action lawsuits being pursued. You are affiliated with some of that from what we're hearing. How do we know, despite and with respect to all of the experience, that this isn't you trying to convince these folks or whomever that you should be suing Norfolk with us? That this isn't trolling compliance in behalf of whoever you're with?
Sure. That's an actually very fair question, and I understand that. And I think over 30 years, these situations don't happen, and you think the lawyers aren't going to show up. Oh, you bet they're going to show up. But at the same time, these people need to know they have legal rights. They could get totally screwed over further by Norfolk. You mentioned class actions. Listen, I'm not the attorney. I've never worked with an attorney that does class because everybody's damages are seen the same. From my experience with Hinckley and every other environmental issue I've worked on, and I consult with firms, I'm not their employee. I'm not making a bunch of money out of this. These attorneys get upset with each other because they might be missing out on some money, but it's not going to affect me. And by the way, all the money in the world doesn't change anything for these people. Nothing. They've already lost everything and their future. You really? So what, you're going to have a lawsuit? Yes, the money helps, and I want people to understand that so they can get out of here, because many of them can't afford to do that. I would understand that people might think that I'm that. I've been called that. But after 30 years, I've really shown myself I'm not here for that reason. I'm here for these people.
Erin Brockovich has just been flagged a terroristic threat in East Palestine, Ohio, because they called for changes in governmental policy which may lead to protests. Brockovich also blamed the rail company involved in the incident, which we all know, Norfolk Southern, and that in-person event she planned in East Palestine could increase tensions there. They are calling them extremist activist groups because they look to resolve specific issues rather than affect widespread political change. Erin Brockovich is very good at her job, and they know this. In 1993, she exposed PG&E for dumping hexavalent chromium, a carcinogen used to suppress rust formation at the Hinckley gas compressor station. This absolutely obliterated this town. Get this, the chemical seeped into the town's groundwater. PG&E hid the crisis and misled the community on the effects of that specific type of chromium. Is it safe to assume that this is possibly what's taking place with Norfolk Southern? Lie after lie after lie after lie, and they continue to make the situation worse day by day. And for some reason, they do not want anybody else besides the EPA testing this water and trying to resolve this. And now I'm going to show you something. In the past month, there has been 3 Norfolk Southern train derailments. One in East Palestine, one in Springfield, and one in Cleveland, right there at Lake Erie. And this is starting to get a bit eerie. Funny. Now, this last train derailment in Cleveland, Ohio, just a few days ago, killed Lewis Schuster, a veteran with a 16-year-old son, the conductor of that train. Now, all 3 of these trains had hazardous material on them, and they say that the last 2 didn't spill. And I really think by now that we should trust Norfolk Southern. They've been so honest and upfront with everything. At first in East Palestine, they told the residents to leave for 3 days. Then they told them that they could come back, that it's safe. Then they told them that the water was safe, and they all drank the water. Now come to find out, the water absolutely is not safe, and they don't even want anyone going near the water. Hypothetically, these other 2 trains did spill something, and they are covering it up. They are right next to a very large body of water and 2 very large waters, one of which being the Ohio River that leads all the way to the Gulf of Mexico, and the other river which leads all the way out into the east. Now, if these people are coughing up blood, their children are getting sick, the animals are getting sick, the wildlife is dying, what is going to happen if these chemicals get into the rest of these waterways? And what if that's what they don't want us finding out? And what if these chemicals are actually extremely lethal and these people are in severe danger? All of the East would be in an uproar and there would be no stopping it. So now they are labeling these residents as a terroristic threat along with Erin Brockovich that suits their cover-up and their agenda. This is probably one of the largest cover-ups in American history, and at this point, I don't see it ending well.
And now bottled water is being pulled from Stop and Shop stores in New Jersey. This involves the 1-gallon bottles of Acadia spring water because it was sourced near the site of the toxic train derailment in Ohio. Now, the company says that their supplier is testing water quality regularly, and if the tests continue to show that there are no safety concerns, the products will return to stores. Other sizes of Acadia water are produced at different locations and not impacted.
Breaking at this hour, an intense mission to free 3 runaway barges that are pinned against a dam in the Ohio River near Louisville, Kentucky. They've been working on this overnight, and it's not getting any better. We know one of those barges now is sinking, and here is the problem. It is carrying 1,400 tons of highly flammable methanol. At this hour, we're told that nothing is leaking, but it is on the move as it sinks. Remember, just about 7 weeks ago, a train carrying toxic chemicals derailed in eastern Ohio. The concern would be, is this tributary, this Ohio River, being shared by some of the same disaster victims in East Palestine, about 400 miles away? A monster body of water and a monster barge situation going on right there. David Lee Miller is on the story for more. And I just concentrate on the water. I concentrate on how people are going to be affected. David.
Indeed, Harris, a lot of people are very concerned because the barge that has so many people worried contains, as you point out, more than 1,400 tons of poisonous methanol, and it is sinking. Authorities are closely watching potential health risks, especially because the Ohio River provides drinking water for 5 million people. Last month, following a train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio.
Damn, you were right. Here is all the train derailments and the dates that they happened. So there's been 6 since January 22nd. Unbelievable.
Just like Ohio, this started in Louisiana right here. So how many trains got derailed? Let's look at everything. Before this happened in Ohio, what happened? Yeah, y'all forgot about the one in New York, huh? Yeah, real suspicious. And then the one that happened in Chicago? Something real strange going on. So New York, Chicago, Ohio, Texas, Oklahoma, and they call it the Holly Energy Company. Yeah, right, they coming for the holy ones. They coming for the whole nation, but it's an attack on the holy ones hidden in cold right here. It's crazy they even got Oklahoma, man. That's almost the whole country, right? Let's keep going. People like, it's a distraction from the list. No, it's not. This list is a distraction from this chemical warfare that we in right now. Pay attention. Oh, what do you know? He said it was gonna happen, just like he said the first one was about to happen. Y'all, this in Connecticut. Ain't no way these trains just derailing like that, y'all. Ain't no way. Then South Carolina got hit. Look at these draconians. Look at what they doing. It's an attack on the human race, but they really coming for the holy children of God. See, y'all think they coming over here and they intercepting the Russian military jets. No, they all together. They up there probably fighting the ships right now. The ships are our defense, y'all. That's how we get out of here. They all shooting at the same thing. Come on now. That's why all these earthquakes happening and all this bad stuff happening. The Most High is around. The ships are here. They going around with nuclear warheads and stuff right now. Y'all think they fighting each other. They not just fighting each other, y'all. They fighting the ships. And at the same time, they having the chemical warfare on the humans. Why? Because the elites are under attack right now. It's a war on the children of God. It's a war on humanity right now, y'all. A reptilian human holocaust. Y'all, wake up. Why would they randomly just start recalling these chemicals? They know something ain't right. They doing something. They releasing all these chemicals and they want us to worry about a bird flu. Something that they're putting out here and they just labeling it this. Stop playing. They releasing all these chemicals and blaming it on the animals. It's crazy. And then in the middle of all this, y'all, they attacking the train conductors. Like they know something we don't know. It's like everybody getting attacked. Then these kids get injured. Yeah, right, y'all. No worries. Keep the faith, y'all. We did it.
Me tell me why there's a derail device on train tracks next to a water treatment plant.
Tell me why there's one right in front of my
How?
I was brought out to this field in Stanislaus County, California, and this is the center of like the heartland of the nut industry, the almond industry, the pecan, or not pecans, I'm sorry, almond, walnut, cattle. There's not a lot out here, folks. And yesterday we were at a gathering and we were alerted by another rancher that the railroad company, some company that nobody knows which company this is, has brought in hundreds of these railroad cars. And you can just see the line of them here. Let me see it, make sure I'm getting it in the shot. Sorry. Getting this in the shot. Now, on the cars, they say odorless liquid petroleum gas. Now, they are loaded. They're riding low on their axles. They're double and triple deep on the switchback. And this is important because these ranchers, this is unprecedented in this area. None of them, they're like, what the hell is this? Why are they bringing this into the, heart of nowhere? I mean, unless you own land here or you're in the know-how, you don't know that this is here right now. And like I said, this is just the end of this line. I'm gonna make sure I'm getting these cars in here. And it goes on for miles. There's hundreds of these cars filled with an unknown liquid in the middle. Now, what's significant about this is just over, a few miles over is the main water pipeline that goes into San Francisco. This also abuts two important agricultural rivers that feed this agricultural valley. So we don't quite know what's going on here, and it was the talk of the valley yesterday. I'm just visiting from Alaska, so I did ask one of the ranchers to bring me out.
Well, if you want to know where the next train derailment is going to be at, it's probably going to be here in Colfax, West Virginia. The water's running underneath the railroad tracks, but not through the pipe. It's just running around the pipe, eroding the entire side of the hill, which leads straight to the river. You can see here where the railroad company cut down several trees about 2 months ago, but I guess their fix was just to throw it in the hole instead of actually coming out and fix the problem.
There's been another accident involving a Norfolk Southern train in Ohio. That's the same company involved in that toxic train derailment last month. A 46-year-old train conductor for Norfolk Southern was killed today in Cleveland when a dump truck crashed into the front of his train at a crossing. The NTSB has launched a special investigation into Norfolk Southern's safety practices. This is actually the company's 5th major accident since December of 2021.
Crash that killed a Norfolk Southern conductor, the company's 3rd accident in Ohio in just over a month after those 2 derailments. And the special investigation the NTSB announced today into the company.
Out of that breaking news out of Greece, a horrific head-on collision between a freight train and a passenger train. We're told at least 29 people are dead, 85 more are injured. It happened in the town of Tempe, about 230 miles north of Athens in the mountains near the Aegean Sea. Several train cars were derailed in all this. At least 3 caught fire. We know there were about 350 people on that passenger.
We have a breaking news alert out of Summers County, West Virginia, where a CSX coal train has derailed after striking a rock slide. 3 workers have been injured, and there is an active fire at the scene.
Y'all, this just happened in Arizona. They say it's nitric acid in the air right now. They told them to shelter in place, y'all. This crazy. Are we under attack right now? Y'all, this crazy. And then something just happened in Texas. Let's take a look. Y'all, a train derailed in Texas, but they say it's nothing to worry about. It's only household chemicals on board. It's still chemicals on there. Now, could all this just be a coincidence? Could it be the work of the Most High? Or could this be the work of man? And are we under attack right now? Bro, and this in South Carolina, y'all, there's 3 more incidents that just happened. Y'all, ain't no way. Ain't no way. Ain't no way, boy. It's crazy. They say they getting sick already. From the one in Ohio. Now Russia's sending out ships with nuclear warheads on them. Come on now. But hey, he think that They under attack right now, so something going on. I'm not saying this is true. I'm not saying it's false. I'm telling y'all, we need to put all the pieces together. That's sad what just happened in Texas. But they comparing it to something called Atlas Shrugged. So if y'all know what that is, y'all sound off in the comment section. They say Atlas Shrugged had the collapse of civilization started with liberals in control, and it started with train disasters. So I don't know anything about that. Like I said, if y'all know more than me, because I never looked into Atlas Shrugged before. If y'all know more than me, let me know.
All right, you guys, updates. We got 2 more train derailments after the Ohio one, and then a third chemical spill out in New Mexico, and it's all chloride and nitric acid, right? And I'm gonna play 4 videos for you in a moment. And if anybody knows what chloride and nitric acid is, it kills everything. If it gets into your system, it can do a lot of damage and harm, and it can kill you. It can also eat away at the flesh. But this was another derailment in Texas. Right behind me, I'm gonna have 4 videos for you. Stick with me. I'm gonna show you another derailment, I believe in Louisiana, and then there's a chemical spill in New Mexico. North Louisiana, families evacuated after train. About 130 people in North Louisiana are under a mandatory evacuation Saturday after a train derailed and at least 2 cars began leaking hazardous products. Very interesting. All these situations are leaking very highly deadly toxic gases.
Carrying toxic chemicals derailed from tracks in Ohio. We're talking irritants, cancerous gases, and chemicals with byproducts that were weaponized during World War I, with the state conducting what they called a controlled release, arguing these chemicals would have exploded otherwise, and evacuating nearby residents. And now...
Yeah, and actually, I'm trying to avoid sensitive areas here. I'm going to zoom out real quick. But it looked like there was 2 pieces of what a cab was, and I can actually try to point it out. Over right behind where those cars derailed, there's like pieces of what looks like a cab area, and you can see where those investigators are standing. That's the point of the impact. That's Midline Road.
That breaking news tonight from St. James Parish, where evacuations are underway after a train derailment near Paulina. The sheriff's office says the train is leaking hydrochloric acid. The map shows the evacuation zone that's on your screen right now. LA 44 is closed from Antioch Street to Reverend Dr. Samuel Jones. LA 642 from LA 44 to Sugar House Street is...
It's a crash on the I-10, closing both sides of that freeway east of Tucson due to a hazardous spill.
Faye is joining us now with what we know so far. Faye? Yeah, guys, a shelter-in-place warning now in effect for anyone within a 1-mile radius of this crash, which is near the Kolb exit there off of I-10 east of Tucson. Drivers being urged to avoid this area. Brand new video coming in right now from the scene.
Come on, man. 4 states, 3 train derailments, all chloride and nitric acid. You gotta be kidding me, man, right? Nah, this is just a coincidence, though, after all. This is just another conspiracy after all. You gotta be kidding me, right? What's going on? What's really going on?
This is just a massive fire. This is Sky Fox over it earlier this morning. Here's the latest of what we know. Officials tell Fox 35 5 acres of plastic planters are burning at nursery supplies and...
So you mean to tell me we have multiple train derailments throughout the country right now, and then turn around, we have a warehouse burning and plastic is being burnt, and this is all normal and no one is behind it?
Well, Dave, evacuations are happening to areas in the Port of Catoosa that are along the flow of the wind as this fire continues to burn. We'll show you what this looks like from our vantage point right here. We're on State Highway 266 and also at the junction of Arkansas Road and Keatonville Road, one of the entrances here at the Port of Catoosa. You can see a little bit of the tip of the flames coming out of this area. Also, lots of black smoke. Of course, it is quite a windy morning so far, so there's a lot of wind blowing in that area. So they do have evacuations evacuations going at this time. You can see right here at this entrance here, as people try to come in, the Rogers County Sheriff's Office has been called out and people are being turned away. So anybody that's trying to come to work or go inside the Port of Catoosa is now being steered from this area. The Oklahoma Highway Patrol is also out here helping direct traffic. Now, we do want to let you know it's quite congested at 46th Street North as you would come into the Port of Catoosa, just because all of the vehicles of people trying to get out of this area here right now, they're all leaving at the same time. So lots of congestion. Dave.
I just wanted to give you guys some updates on what's going on in Ohio. This is another place that is burning recently and it blew up. People died there. In Palestine, they're saying they have to throw everything out. Doesn't matter if the surface was permeable, all your clothes, all your everything. It's got forever chemicals in it and you gotta throw your couches, everything out. The gas can settle in the basements and it's mustard gas, so it can kill you. So they're saying stay out of your basements, but it's safe to be there. People are being offered $1,000 right now per person to sign an agreement that says they won't hold them any liable further. There's rashes and other symptoms reported. Doctors don't know what to do. The hospitals are feeling overwhelmed in that area around East Palestine and the surrounding area. They're collecting all the dead animals so no one else can test them, and the Ohio River has been confirmed to be contaminated.
I don't know if you guys can see right in front of me, but that's Lake Pontchartrain. I'm on the Bonnet Carré Spillway, and it's on fire. Right?
Yeah.
The lake is on fire.
Yep.
So, train derailments. One in Ohio, one in Texas, one in South Carolina. And South Carolina is actually being operated by CSX Transportation. And you guessed it. In the top 4 investors, you will find the names Vanguard and BlackRock. So, I'm sure it's all just a big coincidence.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Right in front of your faces. Right in front of your faces, you have the top holders of the companies that is responsible for the biggest chemical spill in the United States. You have the Vanguard Group and BlackRock. Wait, but there's more. Let's go to Yahoo Finance. And we're saying, ladies and gentlemen, we're like, it can't be, right? It can't be that you're in a situation where nobody's really out here, right, putting forth proper information, right? Nobody's out here dictating what is taking place. It's very much secretive, not a lot of information. And then all we have to do is look at who owns the media companies. So, I don't know. Maybe we go to Fox News. Do we start there? I wonder who's the top shareholder of Fox News. No wonder they're not talking about the chemical spills, because the same company, right, that owns the media owns the company that is responsible for the chemical spill. Very interesting. Look, they have a code of ethics. I wonder what this is. A message from our CEO. Get it done. Do what's right, LOL. Build connections or kill families and find a better way. Hey, because if you can't see it, it must not be there. Sounds a lot like fluoride. Anyways, let's continue. So this is all in real time with you guys. As you guys know, we're kind of just piecing this shit together. So here we have a video recap of the, like Kane Koa says, a toxic cocktail of deadly chemicals. All right, this is what's happening in real time.
Cocktail of harmful and potentially deadly chemicals purposely being burned off by authorities. But why? Let's rewind. This all started with a train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio, a town of nearly 5,000 people. 5 of the cars that derailed were carrying vinyl chloride, a dangerous chemical linked to multiple cancers. It's used to make a whole bunch of things, from car parts to PVC piping, but on its own, vinyl chloride can cause blisters, headaches, dizziness, and can be deadly if breathed in for too long. It's also unstable.
It can be deadly if breathed for too long. So here you're being told that vinyl chloride, the chemical that was incinerated around neighbors and around neighborhoods and around children, is known to be deadly.
Stable, and at least one of the train cars was at risk of exploding and sending deadly shrapnel flying as far as a mile. And while that massive explosion didn't end up happening, many are wondering if the way authorities are going about mitigating the incident is the best course of action. To avoid a catastrophic explosion, officials conducted a controlled release of vinyl chloride a few days after the derailment.
Like, these dudes just poisoned their own town.
Conducted a controlled release of vinyl chloride a few days after the derailment.
I love how they put controlled release in quotations.
They pierced the train cars so the vinyl chloride could drain into a trench and burn. It resulted in this. Authorities said that the controlled burn would release hydrogen chloride and phosgene into the air. Yes, as in World War I chemical weapon phosgene. So what does that mean for residents?
This is something that everyone in the US needs to know about. The EPA has just given the green light for the production of 34 new biofuels, one of which could emit air pollution so toxic, 1 in 4 people exposed to it over a lifetime could get cancer. In a shocking new co-published report by The Guardian and ProPublica, which I recommend everyone reads, they presented some horrifying agency records which show the EPA approved the Chevron refinery to produce these supposedly climate-friendly biofuels, some of which are created from discarded plastics. The papers revealed that when produced, some of these petroleum alternatives create a risk 250,000 times greater than the level usually considered acceptable by the EPA themselves. In fact, when Maria Doa, a scientist who worked at the EPA for 30 years, was asked to review the documents, she was so alarmed by the cancer threat that she initially assumed that it was a typographical error. And here's the part which I found most alarming. In approving the fuels, the EPA didn't require any lab tests, air monitoring, or controls that would reduce the release of the cancer-causing pollutants or people's exposure to them. And given what the country has witnessed this year so far with pollution,